ready for the big day. Closing can be a complicated process, but with the right preparation, you'll be on your way to home ownership in no time. Okay, let's see if we can get this a little bigger. There we go. All right. So what's involved in closing day? What's involved in closing day? So you have signing documents, okay? This part can take some time, but it's important to read through and fully understand what you are signing. Please take the day off. Oh, excuse me. Please take the day off, okay? Do not think that you can run in, sign your documents real quick on your lunch break, and then go back to work. You're not going to have enough. You need more time than that, okay? My closing day took all day. First of all, I got lost. All right, hold on. Let me come close. Let me come close. Okay. Thank you, Jenny. I got lost on my way to the condo to do the final walkthrough, because you have to do the final. Did I have this in the slides? I don't think I do. That's a problem. All right. But you're supposed to do your final walkthrough, right? And so your final walkthrough happens typically at the beginning of the day, right? So you go, you look at the house or the property, and you say, yes, they did all the repairs, or you say, yes, I'm good. This is great. I want this house still. Let's go sign some papers. And then you go and sign the papers wherever you meet up. Now, it could happen the day before, or your final walkthrough can happen the morning of. I opted for morning of because, remember, I lived in another state. So I was like, bruh, I cannot do the 2-day thing. Y'all gonna get me all in one day, or this ain't happening this week, okay? I gotta do like a 2-week process to be taking off all that time. So they were like, no, it's okay. We'll do the final walkthrough in the beginning. I got lost. Oh my goodness. Almost didn't close on the condo because I got lost for like an hour. And then I finally found it. New Jersey, listen, okay, Flavia, you take one wrong turn in New Jersey, you know, you take one wrong turn and man, you off in somewhere else. I actually ended up getting on a bridge by accident and going back into New York. I was so mad. But yes, please save enough time for all errors in driving, save time for traffic, okay? Because this will be the day where if anything can go wrong, it will, okay? So definitely take all the time off. All right. So you're going to do all the signing of the documents. Now, dang, I wish I had, I meant to get a copy of the closing disclosure for you guys. I'll put that in the VIP portal for you, okay? So your closing disclosure is going to come, it should come 3 days before you actually are going to close, okay? And the CD is basically just reinstating what the pre-qualification loan documents is going to say. And I'll put samples of that too, so that you guys can see it, just like the purchase agreement. And you got to read through it and all the things, right? And then you say, yes, I'm closing. Everything looks good. Remember, you're going to check over everything and make sure everything is accurate. You got all your grants, you got all your programs, you got all of your seller's concession, lender's concession, agent concession, whoever's putting all the monies in, you got all your things there, right? And that they credit you for your earnest money accurately and all the cool things, right? So you make sure you got all of that on your closing disclosure. They will say it's the CD. So if they say CD and you're like, I don't know what the F that is, closing disclosure. All right. 3 days before, you're going to agree to it. If it's good, you're going to say no if it's not. Okay. And this is also a part of the offer process as well that we talked about yesterday. And then the day before you actually go in to sign the documents, you're going to get the full contract. Read through the contract, okay? Because if you don't read through the contract the night before, when you get to the closing table, it's going to be even more daunting because the stack of papers is this thick, y'all. I kid you not. I wish I was joking. It's this thick. It's thick. It's thick. It's thick, Okay, it's a lot of documents that you got to sign your name on, and you are not going to feel like reading all of those with all the pressure of your realtor standing there, and your attorney might be there, and the signing agent is there, okay, to make sure that everything is going well, and they're the ones who actually get the signatures on everything, right? Bruh, no, don't wait until the day of. Okay, because all of them people are going to be standing around like, could you hurry up? Like, they're not going to say that, but that's the atmosphere. Okay, so read through that thick contract the day before. You'll also have opportunities to ask questions. Okay, so you can either ask your lender the questions when you receive the document and as you have them, send them in an email, or you can wait until day of for the closing and ask your questions there, but your lender may or may not actually be present. My lender wasn't there. So if you got questions about the contract, your realtor is going to be the go-to. And if there's a problem and your attorney is not there, your realtor is 100% going to be there with you. Okay, so they're going to be the go-to for you to say, hey, this doesn't look right. Okay, now, unfortunately, if you find something wrong, you cannot close on that day because the lender is not there. So they can't correct anything, or your attorney may not be there. So they have to go back and forth and make sure that everything is correct. If it's not correct, the closing process starts all over again. Okay, which means that it may be another 3 days before you actually close. So make sure you read through that thing, write down your questions, send them in an email to your lender the night before. Hopefully that morning of, when you're doing your final walkthrough, if you don't do it the day before, they'll get back to you, answer any questions, correct anything, and then you guys can be good to go for closing day. All right, so then what happens is what is called the title transfer, okay? So the seller must transfer the title to the new owner, which means that the ownership of the property is officially transferred. The third thing that happens is the funding process, okay? So you'll need to present a cashier's check or a wire transfer to cover the down payment and the closing cost, okay? The down payment and the closing cost. The rest will be funded from the lender, okay? Make sure if you guys actually do end up using any grants or programs, you have to make sure that it's going to hit your account, or they are going to wire the money into your escrow before closing day. Because if the money ain't there on closing day, you are not closing. Okay? So if you use grants or programs, you got to stay on their booty too. Okay? All right. So here are some things to consider during closing, okay? Things to consider during closing. I'm trying to make that thing go away. Okay. All right. Make sure to factor closing costs into your budget. We talked about that in the beginning. And remember, if you have your home buyer handbook, what's great is that there is an entire page dedicated to show you whose responsibility is what with those closing costs, okay? And Chris said, got it. Perfect. All right? Pay attention to details and ask questions. If you're unsure of something, remember, listen to me. Okay? You need to be fully clear on what you're signing. You need to be fully clear on the condition of that property before you sign. Okay, because after you sign, you cannot go back. Okay? There is no going, okay, you got 3 days from signing. You have 3 days from signing. Remember, we talked about that in your consumer rights. You have 3 days after signing to be like, I don't want this deal anymore. How do I get out of it? You, of course, will lose your earnest money and all the things because you're way past the point of no return for that. But you won't take on any additional debt and you won't take on that property. But listen to me, okay? You don't want to end up like, I was so mad, y'all, 48 hours after. I should have called and been like, bruh, why y'all played me like this? But it's whatever, okay? They were nice enough to like repaint my, they did primer for all the walls and stuff. Like the housekeeper didn't need to do that. He was very nice. One of the guys that were on the seller's estate. But yeah, you want to like make sure, because that pipe burst 48 hours later. I was upset. Okay, upset. All right. Take advantage of the final walkthrough to confirm that everything is in order. Be patient. The process can be lengthy, but it is worth it. Okay, like I said, that thing is probably going to take you a couple of hours, not a lunch break. Okay, so in your homebuyer handbook on page, I forget what page I said, 79. What page did I say, y'all? 79. What page? 71. Okay, so closing day is when you sign ownership and insurance paperwork and you receive your new home's keys. Okay, typically closing takes 4 to 6 weeks. During this time, purchase funds are held in escrow, where your money is held safe until the transaction is complete. Okay, at this point, you are already past the point of no return. So if you decide to cancel the contract, you done lost your earnest money. All right, closing disclosure. Lenders are required to provide you with a closing disclosure at least 3 days before closing. Like I said, this will show you what your final loan terms and closing costs will be. You will have 3 days to review the statement. This is done to ensure that there are no surprises at the closing table. If there is a significant discrepancy between the loan statement and the closing disclosure, you must notify your lender and title company immediately. Okay? Now, at the final walkthrough, right? You'll do a final walkthrough with your real estate agent, right? And within 24 hours of closing. So that's why I said it could be the night before or it could be the morning of, but it needs to be within 24 hours so that, you know, someone doesn't come in and change something. Okay, people are weird. All right. So you want to make sure that that property is in the condition that you left it in. All right. This final inspection takes about an hour. You will make sure any repair work and the seller agreed to make has been done. Okay. And if you haven't agreed to anything, you just want to go in there. Oh, this is a really good tip. Okay. Because this pissed me off after I closed. So the seller actually left this like ginormous dresser in the basement. Y'all saw it in the picture, right? And so if you don't tell them that you want it delivered completely empty, which means take all your stuff, do not leave anything, during that final walkthrough, if you still see something, you tell that seller, come get it today or I'm not closing. Because then you have to pay somebody to remove it if you don't have someone to remove it for you, which at the time I didn't. I kind of like, look, don't tell my HOA. Okay, I'm gone already, so it don't even really matter. But I just pushed it into the shared basement, and I was like, look, they told us not to store anything over here and that they would throw it out if it was stored there. So I just left it there, and I was like, I'm going to let the HOA throw it out. But look, okay, you may not have the opportunity to do anything slick like that, okay? So make sure that they empty the whole thing out and you don't have to pay somebody to come and clean up the place or remove something really big and heavy and bulky. All right. Make sure all the appliances are working properly. Run the water in all of the faucets. You want to make sure that water works and check for any possible leaks. Okay. Check for any possible leaks. Oh, and this is coming from a former utility worker. Don't just check the faucets and the pipes inside of the property. Check the pipes outside. Because the pipe that burst was not the pipe inside of the condo. It was the pipe outside. But I didn't do my final walkthrough. He did. My realtor did. Because I was not in the state, right? So when I came that morning and I was all late and stuff, I really ran through the property because we were already late and I just wanted to make sure that I closed, right? But I should have went and checked that water pipe. Okay, so you want to check your water pipe on the outside, your gas pipe on the outside. You want to check the gas meter. You want to check the electric meter. You want to check the water meter, and you want to check the sewer as well. Check the sewage. Okay, because if you have backup or buildup, that is another money pot. Remember, money pit. Remember I told you the money pit is in the utilities? Go and check them things on your final walkthrough. Also, make sure that you check the water heater. Make sure that thing comes on. Make sure that it is secured, that your flue pipe is up at an angle, okay, and is going outside of the house. Let me see what else. your boiler, okay, or your furnace, whichever you actually have, turn that thing on. Even if it's the summer, turn it on. See if it comes on, because if that doesn't come on, they're like $20,000, okay? They're like a grip, okay, to fix or even try to replace, all right? So the really good ones, okay? So check all your things. Oh, and AC. If you have AC units, even if they're wall units, check them. If you have central heating and cooling, check them. You have an HVAC system, check it. Turn all the things on, all right? And that seller is supposed to have all of the utilities turned on at least 24 hours before you get there, so that when you get there, you can turn it on and make sure it works, okay? Even if it's been a while and they haven't sold it in a while and they opted to turn off the account, turn that thing right back on. I need to see. All right? Oh, flush the toilets. This is a good one. Flush the toilets. Because remember, what did I tell y'all happened in my family's building in that brownstone with the toilet? What did I tell y'all about that toilet? Somebody type it in the chat really quick. The toilet story. What happened? What happened to the toilet? Okay, Taquita said, I see why the hood got good contractors, hood electricians, and hood plumbers. Exactly, because in that last clutch minute, you're going to need somebody to run up in there and fix some stuff, okay? Taquita said, oh, it was flooding. Exactly. It was flooding. So flush the toilet. Make sure that the toilet works the way that it's supposed to work. And this is a plumbing tip. You want to wait 10 minutes after you've actually flushed the toilet to make sure it doesn't run. Because if it's running, which means that it's making that noise like it's cycling, you got a problem in that system. Okay? You got the problem. You're going to want to clear that first. It should stop making noise after about 30 seconds. It shouldn't come back on or do anything else. If it does, something's wrong. Okay? And check all on the bottom and make sure there's no leaks. And if your toilet is on the top, because I had two toilets. I had one on the top of the condo and I had one on the bottom. So I flushed the one on the top and then I went downstairs, and wherever that toilet actually was on the top level, I looked to make sure that it wasn't flooding. Exactly. To make sure that it wasn't flooding. Okay? Ginny said, thank you for that tip. Yeah, and these are things that like most people wouldn't think about because they're not in utility companies. They don't have contractors or plumbers in their family. So they're just like, oh, it works. Like, nah, check that thing. Okay? All right, let me make sure I get all the other good tips in here. Run the garbage disposal and exhaust fans. Run the disposal and the exhaust fans. All right. So I already told you guys about the closing table. That's good. Okay, closing costs can vary depending on your home's purchase price and where you are located. You can generally expect your closing costs to be around 3 to 4% of the home's sales price. Okay, 3 to 4% of the home sales price. These closing costs can sometimes be shared with the seller if you ask for a seller's concession. Okay. Make sure that you bring to the closing table with you. This is really good because if you forget this, I don't know if you closing that day. Okay. So make sure that you bring a government issued photo ID. All right. You're not going to really need to bring the copy of the sales contract. For those of you who have the home buyer handbook, the title company is going to bring it because they have the signing agent bring it to you. So you won't need to print that out. Don't worry about that. Unless you want to print out anywhere that you highlighted where you had questions, because the signing agent is going to be able to answer any questions that you have about the general, context of the contract. So you can ask those questions. They're also going to go over amortization with you. Pay attention to when they talk to you about that, okay? Because they're going to tell you, is it positive amortization? Is it negative amortization? Depending on whichever loan type you choose, right? They're also going to tell you if you have PMI, when your PMI drops off. They're going to tell you how much PMI you have. They're going to tell you, it should be in your CD as well, but they're going to reiterate it there. And they're also going to tell you if you want to get the PMI off. This is for a conventional loan, remember. If you want to get the PMI off, what you can do to get it off. They will tell you. All right. And if they don't, ask them. They know. All right. If you have an FHA, that thing's going to be on there forever. You're always going to have UMI, right? I'm trying to think about VA. No, you're fine. Yeah. So those are the only two that you really have to worry about. Okay. Oh, homeowners insurance certificate. So you're not going to have to come with it if you provided it the day before, which you absolutely should. And that's the binder that I was telling you guys about. You got to call the insurance company and get an insurance binder. You need that before you close. They cannot close on that document without insurance on that house or that property. All right. Proof of funds to cover the remaining of the down payment and your closing costs. So like you're going to come with that cashier's check, or you're going to come with your account with the wire transfer in it and send that bad boy over. All right. And then you're just going to receive your keys. That's it. That's the end. That's the end of closing day. That's the end of closing day. Do you guys have any questions specific to closing day? Any quick questions? Because we're not done yet. I'm also going to tell you guys a little bit about what you should do after closing. But any questions on closing day before I move on? Let me know. Let me know in the chat, please. So Queen said, woo, yeah, woo, woo. All right, woo. So if I had to write some things down for you guys, you're going to have your CD, bring your identification. All right, then you're going to do your final walkthrough and docs. You're going to do your final walkthrough. All right, you're going to get to the closing table, sign your documents, and all the cool things. All right, put the closing cost in, and then that's it. And then you receive your keys. I got the keys, keys, keys. I got the keys, keys, keys. And this is good because like my markers are dying on y'all. Chris said, nope. Okay. Flavia said, if you're getting grants and programs, how does that show? Great question. So it's going to show up on your closing disclosure. You should tell your lender and your realtor that you are receiving grants and programs. Those grants and programs need to be ready 3 days before your closing date. Your lender will give you your closing date. Okay, so you'll know, right? And then you need to tell your grant and programs if they're going to send the money to you in your account, or if they're going to pay directly to the lender through your escrow. They're going to need that information from you, obviously, right? But it needs to be there 3 days before you close because it needs to be on your closing disclosure. It needs to be on your CD, okay? If it's not on your CD, raise all the types of flags, okay? Where's my stuff? Where's my money? Where's my money? Where's my money? Okay? Make sure that it's on that closing disclosure. If it's not on the closing disclosure, it's not in the deal. We good? Got it? Let me know, let me know, let me know, let me know, let me know. That was a good question. That was a good question. I briefly said it, but I gave you a little bit more depth. All right. Flavia said, got it. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. All right. Now, what do you do with all of those important, but this daggone thing keeps popping up. I don't know why it's doing that. All right, there we go. What do you do if with all of those important documents that you get afterwards? Now, like I said, I still have all of my documents. I'm not even gonna hold you. I still got them. Okay. They're like tucked away, but I got them. They move with me. All right, so you want to file them away carefully. These documents are important, so it's important to keep them organized and accessible in the case you need them in the future. In the case you may want to sue somebody, okay? You might. Make digital copies. In addition to storing hard copies, make sure to scan all the documents and save them digitally in a secure location. I propose you get an external disk drive so that you don't accidentally delete them off of your computer, okay? And shred any unnecessary paperwork. So take a few minutes to go through the paperwork and shred anything you don't need. This will help keep the clutter down. So the things that you really want to keep is the loan estimate, okay? So let me come closer. And so the documents that you want to keep are the loan estimate, your CD, and a copy of that contract. Those are the most important documents. Also, if you had any email exchanges, you want to keep those secured somewhere too, just in case, like I said, let me turn on the slide. Just in case, like I said, you have an issue and you feel like you have grounds to sue, or there's a class action suit out and you need to prove some things. Keep all of your emails, any text message exchanges, and how you can actually store that physically is by loading it up into a Word document or a Google Doc and then printing it out. Okay, so that way you have it and it's secure. Your emails as well, okay? But the three most important things is that loan estimate, because that tells you what exactly did you have before you guys made any changes. Your CD is the last opportunity to change anything. So this is what is actually listed on that contract. And then you want to keep the contract as well. All right. So what to do after closing day? What to do after closing day? So you're going to update your address, okay? And these things might seem like common sense, but when you get in your property, you're going to be so hyped, you might forget some things, okay? So you don't want to miss out on any important mail. So be sure to file a change of address with your post office. And your post office is actually going to start sending everything to that new address. All right. I think you can set it to 12 months to like 3 years. I set mine for 3 years because I was like, man, I don't even know. I'm going to just have y'all sending mail all the time because I've been at this other address all my life. Somebody might forget. Okay. Also, you never know about something that, you know, you set in motion a year ago and 12 months is not long enough because you may miss, like it may be like a day or two or a month or two off that you're missing whatever, you know, that you need to renew or something. So do it for multiple years, I would say, just to make sure that you can be safe and ensure that you get all of your important mail. Check for any damage. If you notice anything that was missed during the final walkthrough, let your realtor know right away so that it can be addressed properly. Remember, you have 3 days. 3 days. It is written in law. It is your consumer right. You have 3 days to do something about something that you don't like. All right? Start planning your move. Now that you've officially become a new homeowner, you'll want to start planning your move so you can enjoy your new space as soon as possible. Now, inside of your home buyer handbook, there is an entire checklist for you outlined for, I'm trying to see if I can find it, but it's outlined for you by like, I think it's like 6 weeks out, 4 weeks out. It's like very specific about when you should start doing what in regards to moving. And I loved putting this together because I was like, look, I got to make sure that y'all know. Here it is. All right. So it is, let me come closer. All right. This moving checklist that I showed you guys yesterday. So it's going to show you exactly what to do after signing, 4 weeks to the move, 3 weeks to the move, 2 weeks to the move, 1 week to the move, and then it gives you an entire checklist as well. All right. So you may have, there are some instances where you are not going to be able to move into the home right away. Okay. Maybe on the seller side, maybe they ask for a little bit of extra time if they're actually living in the house that they're selling. If they're not living in the house that they're selling, you can probably move in right away, right? As long as they don't have any tenants or anything in there. So that those kinds of things. Oh, if they do have tenants in a house that you are buying, please make sure that you have in there that it is to be delivered empty. You do not want their tenants. Unless you do. I wouldn't. I would start off fresh, just because you don't know what kind of troubles that they've had, if any, with that tenant. And you want to start fresh with an interview process and all the things on your own end so you can ensure that that tenant is a good tenant, okay? But if not, and you end up keeping the tenant, whatever. But delivered empty, that is the verbiage that you want in your contract, that the house or the property will be delivered empty. Empty of people and empty of things. Okay, take all your stuff. Okay. But yeah, so that's what you want to make sure when you are about to move. Now, you may decide on your own end, yes, I closed on this property, but it's a lot of moving parts and I don't want to move in right away. You don't have to move in right away unless you have an FHA loan. Remember, the FHA loan has a stipulation that you have to move into the property within 60 days. Okay? For me, because I had a conventional loan, I was out here like, whatever, right? I closed on my property December 19th, 2018. And I did not move in until I think it was like March 23rd or something like that of 2020, right before the pandemic. I swear to y'all, right before, I was like, oh, I'm in here. Oh no, 2018, 2019, my bad, y'all. 2019. So 2019, March 20 something, I was in there like swimwear, right? Oh, I'm having a flashback because I really wasn't staying in my house all the time. I was at work all the time. That's what it was. All right. But 2019 is when I got in there. So I waited a couple of months and then I was like, all right. And I slowly brought my stuff over to New Jersey, right? Like made my way, it's my house. I can get in there whenever I want. Just know that you still have to pay rent wherever you actually still are if you haven't closed out with that landlord, and you still got to pay for that mortgage. So don't F up the talent line on that, okay? All right. So what to do with your new keys? Now, I don't know about y'all, but sometimes I be losing stuff. So you want to invest in a keychain. I actually was one of those responsible kids when I was little. I think I lost only like two keys in my entire adolescence, which is pretty good for a kid. Okay. When I got older, I think I lost an apartment key one time, but I had a spare key at my grandmother's house and she lived across the street. So I didn't have to go very far, but yeah. So you want to invest in a keychain. It might seem silly, but having a secure keychain can save you headaches down the line. I had all my keys on one keychain. Okay. Key to the house, key to the car, key to the storage unit, key to the mailbox. Everything was on that keychain. Okay. Taquita said, I'll be losing keys, glasses, phones, and money. See now, look. All right. Oh, here's a good tip that I did in my condo. I had a mini whiteboard, and the whiteboard was right before I walked out of my house, and I had a checkbox. So every time I walked to the door, I had to check off that I had my keys, wallet, okay? Keys, wallet, and it was something else that I was supposed to have. And I made sure that I had all those things. I think it was a laptop or something because I had to go to work. You know what I mean? So it was something, but I know it was keys and wallet. I remember that. And I had to check off every time because if not, man, stress. okay? I got locked out of my condo one time, and I had to pay like $250 for a locksmith to come and let me in because nobody was in New Jersey with me. I was in New Jersey by myself, so I didn't have anybody to leave the key with, right? The way that I did there. That's why I said, like, I have lost keys before in my adult life. Twice. Once in the apartment, but grandma held me down, and then once in the condo, and I was like, dang it, like $250 is a lot for somebody to come let you in your house, bruh. Okay. Taquita says smart. You know, I'm trying to give y'all all the tips, all the tea. Chris, don't be laughing at me, Chris. the struggle. I was upset. Okay. And I had to wait like 2 hours. It was mad long. I was sitting outside in my car waiting for them to get there. Yes, $250 for them to come pop my lock. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. And did I have to replace the lock? I can't remember if I did or didn't. But yeah, struggle. All right. So get some spare keys made. Okay. That's the lesson. It's always a good idea to have a few spare keys on hand in case you lose or misplace them. So I actually ended up doing what the realtors do. So when realtors are going to look at houses, the sellers usually leave their key in a lockbox. So, excuse me. Oh, Lord. So what I ended up doing is getting one of those master lock key boxes, and it had the code on it. So if I needed to get in and I left my key anywhere, I knew that I could still get in my house. And those things are like, if you get the expensive one, like I had the big bulky black one, and I had it like on the railing of my my condo, like near the bushes so people wouldn't see it. But yeah, it was like right there. And like, but it's hard to get that thing off. And I forgot the combination lock to open the actual master lock to get it off of the railing, but I never forgot the key lock. Okay. But it's hard. It's hard to get it off because I was trying to get it off when I was leaving, and I was like, I can't figure this out. Never mind. We couldn't pop it at all, but it's okay. It's okay. It did its job. All right. Make your house a home. Now that you have the keys, it's time to start making your new house feel like home. So start, putting together a list where you want to get this done and you want to get that done and what timeline you want to do it in. This is major key for those of you who are like, I want to go in there and renovate everything. Pick a room. Pick a room. That is the most important. Pick a project in that room. That is the most important. Start there. Then slowly make your way to all of the projects in that room, okay, over time. And then when you're done with that room, move on to the next room and start the process over. But for the love of God, do not do what I did, which was try to tackle everything at one time. Okay. And even I moved a little bit slow, but I moved way too fast paced for myself. I'm going to admit that it was way too much. And I got swipe happy, y'all, because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm free to swipe my credit card. Remember, I had been restricted for 3 years, not swiping my credit card. So when I let that thing loose, y'all, let me tell you something. Those cards got ran up. Okay. I ran them up so hard, I think the strip was on fire. Okay, look. But don't be like me, okay? Be better. Be better. If y'all promising me to be better, type better in the chat. Okay? Type better in the chat if you were gonna agree to be better than me. Okay? Type better in the chat. All right? Taquita said the stripper then disappeared. Yo, on fire. I set that thing on fire. I set multiple cards on fire. I didn't even care. I was like, I got the house. Run it up. Don't do that. It's a terrible mindset to have. Don't do that. You can let up on your restriction, yes, but don't go wild. Don't go crazy. Okay? Flavia said better. Yes. Jenny said better. Yes. All right, y'all. All right. Taquita, you going to agree to be better? We going to be better? Y'all don't gotta follow in all my steps. Y'all supposed to jump over my bad steps. That's the whole point of me teaching you. Jump over the bad steps, okay? Take the good steps, jump over the bad steps, okay? Chris said better. Thank you. Yes. Yes. Taquita said, I don't know. I be doing stuff. Ma'am, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay? All right. So here are some tips on staying organized post-closing. All right? So you're going to create a home maintenance checklist. Okay? Making a home maintenance checklist can help keep your new home in tip-top shape and prevent major problems down the road. Now, the cool thing is if you actually have your home buyer handbook, I did all this for you. It's all in here, baby. It's all in here. It's all in here. The congratulations page, all the things that you should be doing. And then I gave you a nice change of address checklist, all the places that you should think about changing your address. All right. And then you turn the hold on. It's a lot of them. Hold on. Local vendors, utility providers, all the new information that you are going to need. All right. Lifestyle spots in the area. And really, you should fill these out with your realtor because your realtor is going to have all the tea. So ask them. Right. But then, like I said, for that, create a home maintenance checklist. If you have the home buyer handbook, boom, baby. There is a monthly maintenance checklist in here for each and every month. Okay? Each and every month, what you should be doing. All right? I got you. Jenny said, you love us and we love you back. Thank you, my dear. Thank you. All right. So, 2, get to know your neighbors. I had actually really nice neighbors. Now, for the New Yorkers and the city folk, okay, it is okay to like your neighbors. All right. All of them ain't crazy. All right. I had a pretty nice, he was a little nosy for me, but he was a nice neighbor. And when he moved out, I was so sad. I didn't think that I was going to be sad because he loved to talk to me every single chance he got. And I'm one of those people, I am an introvert. So I know it doesn't seem that way, but I am. I'm an introvert, right? So I don't really like talking. Like I like my own space, like back up, right? And he always wanted to talk to me. And I'm like, I get in late at night, bruh. I've been at work all day from 6 a.m. in the morning, which means that I had to wake up at the crack of dawn to get to work in another state at 6 a.m. And you want to come talk to me when I get home at 8 o'clock, sir. But he was the nicest guy. And I really did appreciate him. He was super sweet. And I had really nice neighbors next to me too. I was in a complex, so we had like 4 units in one building. They were just nice. They were good people. All right. So making connections with your neighbors can help you get involved in your community and gives you a sense of belonging. Right. So they were all very nice, and so I really did feel the community. And if that's something that you're missing because you're a city person, community is nice. Okay, it's nice. All right. I ain't saying you got to go gossip with the people in their house, but just, be cordial, be nice. Ooh, wait, hold up. I'm going to give y'all this. This is so hilarious. Okay. So this is why you should get to know your neighbors. I came home one day and I actually came home on time. So I came home in the middle of the day. Right. And so my neighbors next to me were home. And I came home and I had a screen door. Now, remember, this is New Jersey. So we had deer walking around in our community. It was crazy. It was wild. Y'all, I got home and there's this big orange and black spider on my screen door. Oh my gosh. Still gives me chills. Okay. And I am freaking out because I have arachnophobia. Okay. I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. I am screaming, okay? Like someone is murdering me. That's how I'm screaming. And so the lady comes out and says, oh my God. Are you okay? And so she goes into her house and gets some bug spray. And y'all, the way that I unloaded this bug spray, I emptied her whole can. I emptied the whole can, y'all. the whole can on that spider. And the spider was big. It was not little. Okay. I think I still actually got a picture of it. It was not little. Okay. And I just stood a foot away and shot the can and emptied the whole can on that thing. Yes, Taquita, the whole can. I had to make sure homie was dead. Then I'm emptying the can on him. He drops on the floor. I'm going to assume it's a boy, just because, right? And the thing drops on the floor and it starts trying to get away. I'm like, oh no, you have to die. So then the lady comes over because I'm screaming and like running down the stairs now. Like now I'm trying to abort the mission. And, and she comes over and she just steps on him. And I'm like, oh my God, is he dead? I'm freaking out and stuff. And she's like, it's okay. I'm like, it's not okay. Y'all know how traumatized I was for months on end. I was checking the doorknob. I was checking around. I was opening the screen door really quick to make sure nothing was floating around. I was looking in the creases. I was so traumatized by this spider, y'all. But I say that the story to say, thank God I was nice to my neighbors. And she was really sweet. Like, she had brought me food over. Like, in the movies when they bring you food over when you first come to the neighborhood. She brought me food the first time I got there, like the first week. She brought me like a couple of things. I don't eat everybody's food. So like, I was nice about it. But like, I didn't eat everything. I ate like a little something. I'm like, I don't know. You might be poisoning me. I'm from Brooklyn. Right? So, but she was so nice and sweet, And after that, she came and checked up on me afterwards and was like, are you okay? And, it was good. Be nice to your neighbors. Y'all laughing at me is real cute till y'all see, look, homie was this big. He was big, okay? It wasn't no baby spider. And he had that big orange booty. I'm like, oh my God, he's going to kill me. Like, Jenny said the thing was about fighting in your own crib. Exactly. I'm like, yo, I almost gave him the house. I said, you could have a condo, B. You could have a condo. I don't even want it no more. For real. I don't even want it no more. You got it. I don't even want it no more. Like I was aborting the mission. I was going back in my car. And she saved me. And she had to, I was like, you have to make sure it's dead. Is it dead? Because if it's not dead, then I'm thinking that he's coming back to get me. Okay. So she made sure he was dead. And y'all, that thing sat at the side dying and like his body degrading over months at a time, like for a while, because I was like, I'm not going to go over there and like pick him up. Like, oh my God. Right. So I just kind of put a tissue over him and I let him die over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, but she was a really great neighbor. All right. Regularly check your finances. Your budget will look different before you go to purchase a house, while you are purchasing the property, and after you have closed. It will look different throughout this entire process, okay? So you don't want any surprises to creep up on you, so check your mortgage and other financial obligations regularly, okay? All right, and then that's it. Congratulations. You're a new homeowner. This is the start of a new chapter. And with the right tools and mindset, it's going to be an exciting journey. Welcome home. Now, depending on what you are buying this property for, and if you're buying it as a rental property, obviously there are some other things that come with that. We are not going to cover that in this course.